Hi guys, so most welcome back to my channel. My name is Juliana Watt, and if today is the first time you are seeing me, if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back again. Today I'm going to show you how to do this beautiful wig. This is a timeless wig. You can style it any way you want it to be. You can style it into a bob. You can take it to every occasion, okay? So I'm just going to show you how to do it. It is very, very simple. So just sit back and relax while I take you through. So here I am with my tripod and my mannequin head. I call my mannequin head Sister Kuz. I have another one that I called Shelly. The bundle I'm going to be using today is called the bundle. Actually, it has a 4x4 closure. It has 3 different bundles in it, and then it also contains a closure inside. Now with the closure, this is how it looks like, and all of them are actually 8 inches. This is how the closure looks like. It has 3 different parts or 3 parts. The hair is very, very soft. It is very straight. It says it's a virgin Remy double drawn hair. I'm not a professional when it comes to hair, but that is what they are saying. And over here I'm just using my pins to pin the net onto my mannequin head and attaching the closure onto the mannequin head. And you can see that I have left about 1 inch between the net and then the closure in itself, and then I pinned it such that it will lay very, very well onto the mannequin head and the net. And at the back I'm also using the same pin to do the attachment. Now to sew it, I'm just starting right from the front where I insert the pin or the needle, and then I pull it through the net and pull it through the closure. So basically that's how to do a normal sewing of wig. It doesn't take any skill, but of course you definitely have to be practicing so many times until you get it, okay? Now over here I'm just trying to go around the closure that I have placed on the net and the mannequin head as well, so that I am sewing it according to the shape of the closure. So with every closure, when you place it on top of the net, you sew it according to the shape. And this one, it looks like a square, so I'm just sewing it around the net and then using my needle and my thread to do it. I'm using a black thread because the color of the hair is black. So universally every normal person uses a black hair unless the wig is it has a different color. So when I got to the other part of the closure, I sewed it backwards. So instead of making a knot, I sewed it backwards such that when I am almost exhausting the thread, I just make a knot about 2 or 3 times to secure everything in place. Okay, so basically that's how I sewed my closure. And when I cut the thread, I just made extra knots, about 5 extra knots, to secure the closure. So this is how the closure is looking in all, and removing it from the mannequin head, this is how it is looking like. You can see that the closure is just about 1 inch or half an inch away from the stocking cap, and I'm just cutting the place where it has the net so that the lace would show, okay? And I am taking it back onto the net, and this is how everything should look like when you finish sewing the closure onto the net. I'm going to be using this Sharpie pen to mark my my line so that I can sew the extensions on it. Now with the markings, you can see that I am following the shape of the extension or the closure because I want my hair to actually look like layers. Even though it is 8 inches, I want it to look like layers. So instead of starting at the back and doing the normal sewing or the normal tracks where you can like sew it into a straight line, I am just following the shape of the extension or the closure, sorry, so that it will, when I finish doing it, it will look like they are in layers. So this is how all my markings are looking like. And once you have all your markings, it is so easy to place your tracks on or the wig extension on, and then you can easily begin to sew. Over here, this is just one bundle that I'm going to be using it to sew, and the weft is so heavy, guys. It is very, very heavy, so secured. So all the 3 extensions are actually so much accurate to give you a full head, okay? So because my markings are there, it is very easy for me to place it on top of it and then begin to sew. And over here, I just inserted the thread and needle into the very edge of the weft, and then I place it on top of the net and I began to sew. With the sewing, when you start from the edges, you can simply make a knot or sew over and over for so many times before you proceed to
sew onto the subsequent tracks or the lines. So either you make a lot of knots or you sew the same place over and over again so that it gives you extra security. So when you get to the other end of the track, you do the same thing. And as you are sewing, you comb the extension so that by the time you are done, you wouldn't struggle with the combing or it will not tangle up on you. It is human hair, all right, but if you don't comb as you are going, it will not be difficult for you to comb, but I mean, you just struggle a little bit, just a little bit, okay? Over here, you can tell that I am just doing a turnaround. Instead of cutting the extension to put it on the track as if I did with the last part, I just did something like a turnaround so that it doesn't allow me to cut the extension before I place it onto the next marking. You get it? So I'm just doing it. One of my IT teachers will say, use your physical eyes and look at it, observe it well, and then you see how it is done. Some of the things are really hard to explain unless you really look at it, play it several times, repeat it several times, and then you yourself, you also practice it as much as possible before you can totally find out, before you can really learn how to do it. So this one, the okay, so I'm just going to continue to do it until I finish with the second part, and this is how it is looking like when I go to the back. Instead of doing just one part or using just one weft to lie on top of the net, I doubled it up, okay, so that the weft will become twice, okay, so that it will be like two attaching two different wefts onto each other. Then I'm inserting the thread and needle onto the edge, and then I'm sewing it so that it is very, very secure before I start placing it on top of the net and following my marking. So when I started, I just used one weft. I don't know how to describe it, but you see but this one I'm just using two, and I'm doing it so that it will be heavy at the back. Instead of me drew a new when I reach to the very middle part where the closure is, I'll go back to using just one weft. I hope you understand. Yeah, if you don't understand, please repeat it and then watch it again. So I'm going to follow my marking until I get to a certain part, and then I'll come back again. Over here, like I was explaining, I'm just using one weft, like men can say to sew so that it doesn't become heavy on top of my head or almost close to the closure. Hey, I hope you understand. This is my explanation. I'm struggling to explain, but yes, please have a look and then please observe. I'm just using one weft so that it doesn't become too heavy at this part. Now I'm left with just one marking, and I'm just going to use the extension to lay it on top, and it follows the same procedure. No magic over here. Okay, so I'm just sewing it and making the knot as much as possible to make sure that it is secure and it is right in place. Now the last part, just like I did at the very beginning, I'm just making several knots so that everything is secure and they are in place. So this is how everything is looking like. You can tell that I'm just using my small comb to comb, and it's seamless. I'm not struggling because I kept combing as I did the tracks or as I laid the wig. Now removing the pins and removing the rubber band from the closure, this is how everything is looking like. It came out so nice. I'm just combing it, and I'm going to do a little bit of plucking because the closure, most of the times when you wear it, it becomes a little bulky in front, and I'm going to use this plucking tool to help me do the plucking. And with the plucking, you hold it very tight, and then you can see that I fetched a reasonable amount of extensions or the hair in front before I did the plucking. So I'm just trying to hold it like I'm holding a pen and writing, but this time around I'm holding the pen and doing as if I am removing certain parts of the hair. And when you do the plucking very well, you would see that some of the hairs will come out. I mean, that is the goal, to remove some of the hair so that it doesn't become bulky. So I'm going ahead to do the second part of the plucking by fetching some strands in front and then going back and forth with my plucking tool, and then I'm just doing it back and forth like that. Okay, so when I finish doing everything together and finish combing, you would also see some amount of hairs coming out from the extension. And then moving ahead, then when you are done with the whole wig, you are not done. You just have to do the styling. And honestly, to be very honest with you, with the styling, everyone has their own way of styling. Okay, because I wanted mine to be in layers, I'm using this my big barrel curler to do the styling. And this one I might have to do a separate video on how to curl, whether it's a long hair or a short hair. But I don't have a long hair, so I'm going to use this short hair to do the demonstration for you to see. I just open up my barrel and then I insert it and I just curl it. I don't know how to explain to you guys, but when I reach the front, I just try to curl the extension away from my face, so that it doesn't come all the way in front. I know it might be technical, especially for those who haven't had any experience with curling before, but if you really look at it very well, I mean, you can do it with so many practice. And I'm just using my wax, my Jocelyn waxing, so that I can lay all the strands that are standing, and I'm going to be using my hot comb to do that. Okay, so like I was saying, the styling depends on everyone. So this one you would have to watch like multiple tutorials to see how the styling is done, but I'll be so honored to bring you styling tutorials if that is what you want me to do. So please let me know in the comment section if you want me to do a separate styling tutorial with the same hair, of course, because if I decide to take my time to do the styling, we'll not finish with this particular tutorial today. The main goal is to know how to do the hair or to lay the tracks on top of the net so that you see how it will come out. But for those who have had a little bit of experience with curling, I mean, you can understand to a certain extent. But all in all, I'm just using a hot comb and the waxing or the wax to lay the tracks or to lay the closure so that they don't stand, and then they will lie down very, very well. Over here, I'm just using my small teeth comb with my metallic tail to part my line. And I told you that the closure has 3 different parts, so you can either part to your left or part to your right or part to the middle or the center. So it all depends on how you want it to be. It is not a standard. It doesn't come in any standard at all. It all depends on you, how you want it to be, either part to the left or the right or to the center. And you can also do that curvy pattern the way like they do for some of those long hairs. But because my hair is short, I don't want to bother myself with all those technicalities. So I'm just doing a side part, and I'm using my hot comb to lay all the hairs that are standing with the help of my wax stick. So when I was done, I also tried to do my curling. And over here, you can tell that I am curling away from my face. So you see how I turn the big barrel so that it becomes something like this when I finish curling. Okay, so basically that is how the styling is done beautifully. I didn't even add any product to the hair because it is human hair. It comes out so good. So I didn't add any product to the hair. So everything I'm using is the human hair itself and the curler so that it curls. Some people add molding spray to really hold the curls, but for me, I didn't add any molding spray whatsoever. And the hair is just fine. So when I was done with the curling, I used my foundation so it matches my skin very, very well, and then I applied it on the closure so that it matches my skin. Then on to cutting the lace, I'm using this beautiful scissors, and with the lacing, the cutting, I'm just going in a zigzag way so that it doesn't become too obvious, even though everybody will know that you are wearing a closure wig. Okay, so when I finished cutting, this how it is looking like. And ladies and gentlemen, this is how the hair all came out to be. I just use a little pin to pin the side so that it doesn't like cover my entire face, but this is how everything is looking like. I hope this has been helpful. Let me know in the comment section if you want me to do a different styling tutorial with the curler. Of course, I'm going to see you in my next video, but if you love this video and if it was helpful to you, or if you love me myself, just give me a like and kindly subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you so much for sticking with me today. I'm going to see you in my next video. Do have a blessed day. I wish you all the best, and consistency is the key to making enough progress. So please don't stop practicing. Don't stop practicing. I almost lost breath. Don't stop practicing. I'm going to see you in my next video, guys. Do have a lovely day. Mwah.